So classic cars are cool, and if you want attention from driving a car around, there's nothing that's going to give you more attention than a classic car. People love these things. Every time I take it out, it's, people stop me at the gas station, stop me at the, even picking up the kids from school. So the fact is, people love these cars. Everybody wants to drive one of these things, but not a lot of people have the guts to do it. So what I'm going to do is, if you're thinking about purchasing a classic car for a daily driver, I'm going to give you, like I said, very exciting stuff, but I'm going to give you a few key factors, specifically 5 key factors to think about to make sure you're making the right choice. So here are the 5 tips that I can give you for buying your first classic car for a daily driver. The first thing is research and choose the right model. So start by researching classic car models that are interesting to you and that are known for their reliability, availability of parts, and ease of maintenance. Look for models with a reputation for durability and consider their compatibility with modern driving conditions. An example would be driving in the snow or driving in a hot summer day with no tint on the windows. So classic cars from the 60s and 70s are really cool, and they tend to have a good balance between the style and drivability. I tend to like cars from the late 80s, early 90s, cool cars, and they still actually have a lot of safety features to them. You can still get it with airbags, anti-lock brakes, things like that. So the second thing would be thoroughly inspect the car. It's really hard to do sometimes because I'm not a mechanic. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. But when you're buying a classic car, it's really crucial to inspect it thoroughly or to have it inspected by a qualified mechanic. Check for signs of rust, frame damage, or any other kind of major mechanical issues. Look for maintenance records, which is very important. Check the condition of the engine, brakes, suspension, and electrical system, if you can. It's also a good idea to take it for a test drive to assess its performance. So a lot of times you won't understand, what may be wrong with the car, but taking it for a quick drive around the block will tend to point out some issues. A third thing would be set a realistic budget. So classic cars can really vary in the price significantly, depending on the make, model, condition, and rarity. So set a realistic budget that includes the purchase price, potential restoration costs, insurance, and ongoing maintenance expenses. It's important to have a clear understanding of the financial commitment associated with owning one of these classic cars. So on one hand, the insurance is very inexpensive on these cars. On the other hand, sometimes parts are very expensive on these cars, so something to consider. So the fourth thing is, consider the availability of parts and expertise. So classic cars can often require, specialized parts and expertise in maintaining and repairs. So before purchasing, a car, research the availability of, like I said, parts and for the specific model. And also consider the availability of qualified mechanics or restoration shops in your area. That way it makes it easier if something does go wrong, and something will go wrong. And if you can't fix it yourself, that you can actually find a resource to take it to. The one thing that I found is Mercedes dealers, actually just recently they're being a little more open, but Mercedes dealers, Bentley dealers, Rolls-Royce dealers tend to not want to work on the older cars. So then you have to find a mechanic, and that's a whole different thing. So the fifth thing is, plan on, regular maintenance of the car and upkeep. Owning a classic car for daily driving does require regular maintenance to keep it in optimal driving condition. Plan for routine oil changes, fluid changes, tune-ups. Classic cars may also need a little additional care due to their age, rust prevention measures, tire replacement, and attention to electrical systems. So be prepared for, time and effort and expense involved in maintaining a classic car for a daily driver. So remember that owning a classic car can be a really rewarding experience, but it also requires dedication and passion. And I tell people it's actually a commitment to keep these things on the road. So, take your time, do your research, and make sure you make an informed decision that aligns with, your preferences, budget, and driving needs. So I'll give you a really quick example. These cars, super nice. I like the Mercedes. They were known for reliability. I went with the gray one over here is a 300 SEL W126. They make a 560, very cool, 8-cylinder, all the bells and whistles. I did not want that for my first kind of classic car. I came out of a newer S-Class to get that car, and I didn't want any bells and whistles. I wanted like a basic car, 6-cylinder, something that I can open the hood up and do a repair if I need to. I don't want heated seats. I don't want any of the stuff that's associated with the higher end Mercedes. So that's why I went with that car. So like I said, just do your research, come up with something, call around. I did that, before buying both these cars. I have a 76 and a 91. I did a lot of calling around to different shops. I considered buying a few different models of Rolls-Royce, Bentley, all doable, all purchased reasonably at a reasonable price. It's just, availability of parts, things like that. Like I said, Mercedes, easy to get the parts. Even Rolls-Royce and Bentley now, it's actually relatively easy to get the parts with, now that you can buy everything on the internet. It just, for me personally, right now with having my first kind of 2 vintage cars, I'm doing a lot of the repairs myself, and I didn't want to, I wanted to make them as simple as possible. That's why I have a carbureted 76, and then I have the 91, which is the 6-cylinder, very easy to fix. Probably, most likely in the future, I will get a different car. Then I would like to get next, I'd like to probably get a Rolls-Royce. Once again, reasonable to get. Can you fix them? Yeah. I mean, most of the parts are available, but there is a learning curve as far as how to fix these things. And right now, I kind of just wanted to take a baby step. Step number 1, step number 2. So yeah, if you can do it, do it. I think it's worthwhile. I think you can totally maintain it, fix it, but I think you have to have reasonable expectations about what the ownership experience is with one of these cars. Can you buy a car for $6,000? You can buy a car for $6,000. Would I recommend it? Probably not, because that $6,000 car is going to turn into a $12,000 car very quickly, especially if you want to drive it every day. And unfortunately, that second $6,000 is usually not budgeted in when people look at a $6,000 car. So enjoy. I hope you like it. If it does, please subscribe. I will try to make these videos help out as much as I can. And we shall talk soon. Take care. Bye.